ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Tuesday, January 27th. Your drive is ready to go here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Yesterday, not a fun day. We're back hopefully closer to normal than we were with the snowstorm, the ice storm, truly. Very difficult to get back here in the studio yesterday, so apologies, not able to join you yesterday. I did not like that. I am back with you today, so everything was a little bit smoother. I'm not saying much smoother, but the sheet of ice that was my driveway and my side road and then my road in front of my house, not much better, but at least a little bit more able to get off the street. So here we are. Glad you're with us. We got the text line open for you, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear from head coach Cornelius Jackson in just a little bit. He had a presser yesterday evening, so I'm not sure how many of you got a chance to hear that. So we're going to play that for you, get his thoughts on the upcoming game against Texas State, and, of course, the Herd missing Saturday action. What a crazy weekend we had here. Usually weather comes in and you get one prediction, but once it turns to ice, that's really when this thing gets shook up. And so the Herd not able to play this weekend. The women are going to be back in town, so they'll have action at the Henderson Center this week. Looking forward to that. The men taking on Texas State, so no problems there. That's in Texas. So, again, we'll have basketball for you, and that's going to be a 7 o'clock airtime tomorrow. We'll have it for you, and we'll be here all night after the game, post-game comments, all of that. So we're going to be a little closer back to normal with the rhythm of things here. Of course, the Herd still have some makeup game it's got to contend with, so maybe the time off was going to be beneficial for the Herd. I don't want to say rust versus rest, but give you a chance to kind of focus in just a little bit more. And let's be honest with you, the weather definitely shook up a lot of people's routines. So, with that said, what'd you do with all those snow days? I'm always curious, what do people do? When you have ice storm, when you're snowed in, what's the go-to? Are you watching sports all day? And, of course, Sunday was cool because we got to watch the AFC and the NFC championship game. We've got probably the Super Bowl matchup nobody wants, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. I know one guy. Seriously, I know one guy who's a Seahawks fan. That's it. And then there's the Patriots. The Patriots are back again. Wow. How fun that's going to be. The Patriots winning the Super Bowl. And, of course, if the Seattle Seahawks win the Super Bowl, cool. So that's going to be an exciting time. And of course, people don't watch the Super Bowl for the teams anyway. It's the whole idea of it's Super Bowl Sunday. The casuals, the normies, as you call them, they're going to be tuned into this thing. The commercials used to be the big deal. Not anymore, especially with social media. Everybody's got to put everything out on social media first instead of just, hey, let's discover it all together at the same time. Now you have previews of the commercials. That kind of, I know you're spending a lot of money on that thing, so you want to get as much as you possibly can, but that used to be fun. Used to be. And past tense, you'd rate the commercials. I don't know. At least I've been involved where people would just rate the commercials. Oh, that was great. That was 5. That was a 10. And absolutely not sure I'm really thrilled for this Super Bowl, to be quite honest and candid with you here. Of course, by the way, we got the game for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So if you've got to be out, you can't watch the game, we invite you to tune in. We're going to have that once again on all of our Kindred communication stations. We'll have extended pregame coverage that Super Bowl Sunday. And then, of course, wherever you're at, you should be able to hear the game. So we got you covered. Looking forward to it. Super Bowl 60 right here on your home of the NFL, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. All right, our text line, 396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I threw the question out. What do you do on a snow day? Texter says, I do alcohol. Okay, I get it. Fair enough. It keeps you warm, right? Absolutely. That is something you can do on a snow day. I watched NFL on Sunday and then worked from home on Monday, did the remote work thing. Just couldn't get in time to do the show because of the sheet of ice that have formed, on the roadway here in Huntington. But alcohol is, I'm sure, a go-to for a lot of people. A lot of people just like hunker in as well. They're buying activities for the kids because you're going to have the kids at home. I like this. Texture says, Paul, apparently we show our age when we call them commercials. Kids today call them ads. I guess. I call them commercials. Advertisements, commercials. Look, as long as I'm in charge of commercial production to this radio station, they're going to be called commercials. I am showing my age. I like it, though. Besides, what sounds better, commercials or ads? The kids say ads. No, it's commercials. These are commercials. One word that was not, I know we're getting a little off topic, but I do appreciate the text. One word that I was never allowed to use back in my youth, it's like you can't call them spots. Like spots, something on a dog. You can't call them spots. Okay, commercials it is. All right, yeah, I guess I'm showing my age. Commercials, ads, interruptions, whatever you want to call it. Do kids even watch? Do they even watch these things? We'll find out. If you're of a certain age, do you even watch for the commercials or the ads anymore? Because they're on social media. They're going to be on TikTok. They're going to be on X. They're going to be on Threads. They're going to be on Facebook, Instagram, whatever your social media platform of preferences. YouTube, going to be there as well. So obviously, one thing the Super Bowl had going for it was where all the eyeballs would be. The most watched program of the year. And it still will be the most watched program of the year for advertisers. It's just, I don't think that the advertisers are really putting the flair into the commercials, the ads, the way once was. I mean, we had so many creative commercials, and now I can't remember a single spot from last year in the Super Bowl. I can't remember anything, really. I mean, it's a great place. You can see movie trailers as well. Hey, look, here's the teaser. Here's the teaser. You go on YouTube now. Show me a bit of it. Look, hey, the full trailer on YouTube. And that's a way to get people to go to YouTube and engage in your social media platforms. So commercial spots, ads, whatever they are, Super Bowl will have it for you here, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So we'll get your thoughts on that. Also, what was your snow day like? What'd you do for the last few days as you were snowed in? Was it sports? Was it something else? Did you hunker down? Did you raid your local grocery store and stock up on the bread and milk? Because apparently that's the thing to do when we are hit with weather. It is milk and bread. I don't know what got that started, but the grocery store shelves were wiped out of all of that stuff. So who started that? Anybody know? 304-396-TALK is the text line, 304-396-8255. We're going to get those texts in just a few moments on today's edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Here's another Kinder Communications Community Chatter Developmental Therapy Center's 25th Annual Valentine's Celebration, presented by the Wing to Wing Foundation, will be February 14th at Willow Ridge Events in Barboursville. A VIP reception at 5:30, main festivities at 6:30. For information, call 304-523-1164.
This Kinder Communications Community Chatter brought to you by GoMart. Go for good times, go for GoMart. Get the app at your app store with GoMart.com.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. AMDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this Tuesday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is open. We do that every day, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. And, of course, if you know the rules of the show, it's real simple. Be entertaining, be funny, be interesting, whatever the case may be a part of the show. And your text usually gets on the air. There have been rare occasions when I have not read a text. But we will let almost everybody on the air, so avail yourself to it now. It's brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. So with the weather continuing to be an issue over the next several days, there are going to be a lot of closings. So we'll try to be a clearinghouse for as much of that as possible. Of course, our social media will post as much as we can on our Facebook page. I just saw this a few minutes ago. Per Marshall University's Facebook page, due to continuing poor road and parking lot conditions, Marshall University will be closed Wednesday, January 28th. Online classes will continue. I don't know if that's going to impact basketball. I don't believe so just yet. But with the weather being the way it's going to be, I would definitely keep an eye out on any cancellations for the next few days. Of course, the men are on the road. They'll be at Texas State. We'll have that game for you tomorrow. Again, the women are going to be in action against Troy. And that's going to be an 8 o'clock contest. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be played. But again, I know the university is going to be closed. Keep an eye on social media. If I hear of anything, I'll share that with you as well. But the women back home, a very long road trip, taking on Troy. Well, that is coming up tomorrow. That'll be right after the show. So if you've got plans, check social media before you head out. Of course, also we'll try to keep you updated as best we can on our socials and, of course, right here during the show. So we'll get your text in now, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter wants to know, should they play the game tomorrow if Marshall University is closed? That's a good question. If the two teams are already here in Huntington, if Troy has made its way to Huntington, and that's a big if. I don't know the travel itinerary, but if Troy is in Huntington, that game's going to be played. Now, will there be people at the Henderson Center? And there'll be some brave souls. Absolutely, there'll be some brave souls. But again, university is going to be closed. I'm sure the parking garage is going to be open and available. So that's pretty well maintained. So if you can get to Huntington tomorrow, the parking garage should be fine. Shouldn't be any problem. I know that they're going to have the walkways and everything swept, salted. So other than just the inconvenience of the travel and the cold, the bitter weather that we're going through right now, I think this will be fine. And again, if we hear anything, we'll share it to you. We'll share it as soon as we can to our social media accounts and, of course, on the show. But I don't anticipate the game being postponed. But Marshall is taking on Troy. This should be a good one. Marshall 17-5, 8-2 in league play. Troy is 7-2 in league play and 16-4. And so Marshall is in a spot where, other than a couple of losses in the league, Marshall's right there among the leaders on the top spot. I mean, Marshall's also 10-1 at the Henderson Center. And here's a note that Marshall has been pretty solid with. Marshall's been undefeated at halftime at halftime. It leads at halftime. It's undefeated, 12-0. And there is Arkansas State. Arkansas State is the team everyone's chasing right now. Troy has 2 regular season losses in the league. Marshall and Georgia Southern all trying to catch up with Arkansas State. This will be, I think, a challenge tomorrow because Troy's been pretty successful against the Herd. It's won all 3 of the contests between the Herd and the Trojans. So this is one of those games where, okay, Marshall's going to have to get over that hump. And with this team, I feel good about it. I don't think there'll be any problem. I'm confident in where the Herd's at right now. I think Julie's got this team really cooking. The road trip was challenging, but they got through it. I mean, they split on the road, 2-2 on the road. Okay, I'm good with that. And even though Marshall wasn't continuously on the road, you go on the road, then you come back and you got to reset and do it all over again. Yeah, it's challenging for any team. It's challenging for Marshall. It's for the men. It's challenging for the women. So I like Marshall's chances in this one. Try not to jinx the Herd. I don't want to have the sportscasters jinx on this team, but I feel good about where this team is at right now. And so the Thundering Herd got a little bit more rest because it had to play back-to-back games. I mean, here's the stat. Marshall played 2 games 200 miles apart within 24 hours. That's saying something. That the team was able to pick up and go and then get to the next spot and play that game again. Play that next game and go and get the win and then come home and have some games here at the Henderson Center. So that's a credit to the coach. That's a credit to this team. Little adversity with the back-to-back losses, going further on the road trip to try to pull a couple wins out, and Marshall's right back in a good spot. Still plenty of time to catch the leader. Still plenty of time to maybe win the regular season crown for Marshall. And that would be, again, something that would stand out. 2 regular season titles in 3 years, if Marshall can pull that off. And, of course, the bigger prize would be 2 tournament victories in the championship in 3 years. So if Marshall can pull off the regular season title, that's saying something. And if Marshall can pull off the tournament championship, that's saying a lot more. And Marshall's still in a spot where it can do both. Ultimately, you want the tournament. But if you can get both, why not? 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 is our text line to be a part of the program. Paul Texter says, when would Marshall cancel that game? I'm sure we'd find out sooner than later. And again, if Troy's here, that game's getting played. Absolutely. And, of course, I don't know what the forecast looks like exactly for Wednesday, but if Marshall and Troy are on premises, that game's getting played. I think everything should be fine with the university being closed tomorrow. I think there will be plenty of parking in the garage for a lot of Herd fans that want to come. And, of course, come early, get a good spot in the parking garage, get your way across. And I'm sure that there'll be some – I'm not sure. We'll ask and see if there's anything special going on for that game tomorrow as well. So that's a big one for Marshall to come back home and get going with the schedule. And it's favorable for the Thundering Herd at this point. Because you look at the schedule, and Marshall has Louisiana right after Troy. And then it goes on the road in February to take on South Alabama. And then Central Michigan is the MAC Sun Belt Challenge game. And then you're back at home at the Henderson Center. You got 2 in February, the 12th and the 14th. And then the 19th and the 21st, you're on the road, and you finish things off at home on February 27th. So you got a Friday game at home for the Marshall women. I like the schedule. It's favorable. It's not going to be too much travel at that point. The men flip that, and, of course, with the men, you've got a couple on the road right now. I pull that up just to kind of remind myself of where we're at right now. Of course, with Texas State being the next opponent, Texas State, Arkansas State, that's not – once you get to Texas State, then you get to Arkansas State, you're fine. But, yeah, you've got Southern Miss and then the MAC Sun Belt Challenge game, Miami. That's on February 7th. And then you're going to Old Dominion, then you're going to Georgia Southern. That's a Wednesday, Saturday trip. South Alabama is here in Huntington on February 16th. App State on February 19th is here. You're heading to Coastal on the 21st. Then you got Old Dominion on the 24th, and then Georgia Southern on the 27th. And, of course, those games are going to be at the Cam Henderson Center as well. So it looks pretty good for the Thundering Herd, at least schedule-wise. All right, we're going to get our next break in. We will hear from you as we're starting to get ramped back up into the swing of things here. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 on this cold, wintry evening. This is your drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hurt at work? Warner Law Offices is now here for you in Huntington on 4th Avenue, across from the courthouse. Personal, local, decades of experience.
Call 345-6789.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicki Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Let the Car Ferry bring a little magic to your driveway at Mark Porter Auto Group. With locations in Pomeroy, Jackson, Ohio, and Ashland, Kentucky. Want to shop 24 hours a day? Cozy up with a cup of cider and browse our full inventory anytime at markporterautogroup.com. Fall into a safe, reliable vehicle and let the Car Ferry guide you to Mark Porter Auto Group in Pomeroy, Jackson, and Ashland. Or shop 24/7 at markporterautogroup.com.
Get a 12-inch one-topping pizza for $7.99 at Giovanni's Pizza when you order online Sunday through Wednesday for a limited time. Find your local Giovanni's at giovannispizza.com. Giovanni's Pizza, quality without compromise.
Save big on everything for your next project. Now at Menards. Breathe easier with Best Air allergen air filters. They trap larger airborne contaminants to keep allergens out of your home, and they last up to 90 days. Save big on all Best Air products at Menards and refresh your home today. View our entire selection of air filtration products on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer and find great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. AMDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to start foraging wild berries.
I was skeptical, but these are actually pretty good.
You don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared.
Prevent your child's next asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many. Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with your Tuesday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I promised you we hear comments from head coach Cornelius Jackson. We've got those now. Coach Jackson holding his press conference yesterday evening. Let's hear what the coach had to say as the Herd getting set for Texas State and Arkansas State.
Saving from coaches we had in.
We'll get that right there to you here in just a second. Until then, you're listening to The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Apparently, the computer is on a 2-hour delay with the weather. So we'll get Coach Jackson's comments here in just a few moments. And I think the computer has finally warmed up, and here we go.
You know, we took care of home, especially our last game. I thought we shot the ball well. Now we have a tough road stretch coming up in Texas State and obviously Arkansas State. But again, I'm one of those guys. I look at today. I thought we had a really good practice. We need another good one tomorrow before we head out to Texas.
Any benefit or just how things change for you when you have the postponement like that with the schedule differences for you guys at all?
You know what? We pivoted. We had to because of the postpone of the South Isle game, and we basically treated Saturday with our practice sort of like a game. We treated it that way, and then we did our regular Sunday off, and then came back today, and we'll practice tomorrow, hit it down to Texas. So just one of those deals where you have to pivot. You know, it wasn't ideal for us. We would rather play the game, but you know, you had to pivot.
I'm sure the last game's a fun one to go watch back a second time. Anything stick out to you from the film of that game that maybe didn't see that looked great the first time?
You know, I thought, we spent a lot of time talking about our shooting. Obviously, it was really good. 26 made threes, and he broke a few records. But I thought our defense was really good. I thought we came out with the right intensity. We executed our defensive game plan. So I was pleased with that. You know, they shot, what they shoot from the field. They shot 28-18. So I thought we did a really good job defensively. And sometimes when you shoot the ball well, that gets overlooked.
With Texas State, that freshman they've got has done pretty well for him. Just anything you see out of him generally?
Yeah, he's really good. You know what? He has a mature game. You know, he can pass the basketball. He's really a good passer. He can finish. He's crafty with the ball. You can tell by watching film that he has a high IQ because he's acting as the quarterback out there. So we have to do a really good job on him. He commands a lot of attention, but when you send two guys at him, he's a really good passer, so he's able to get the ball to the right people on target and on time. So that will be huge for us. Obviously, transition defense. You know, they push the ball well in transition, and they hadn't been home in a few games, so I know they'll be excited to be back in Texas playing.
With random stat I saw, you guys are assisting about 60% of your shots. Obviously, Jalen's at the top of the league in assists. You talk about how playmaking's been for you guys. It seems like finding the right shots, and I mean that's really one of the best teams in the country at that kind of thing.
Yeah, our guys have done a really good job of just seeing the next man and playing for each other. You know, it's a process. We start them off, when we get here in the summer, and it's a building process of just finding the next guy. You know, anytime you're adding 9, 10 new faces to a roster that's been a few other places, they're used to doing things, that way. They get here, and we watch a lot of film. My coaching staff, we do a great job just on helping these guys see the next guy, see the role, see the back. You know, when you drive and get in the paint, when it's crowded, kick it out, and they're doing a great job of making an extra pass.
It's probably a weird question, but I was looking at some stuff for a project the other day and saw that like pace is as high as it's been potentially ever, as long as they've been tracking it, and then efficiency is as well. Is that something that you see out of basketball nowadays, that kind of the faster you're playing, the more efficient you can be and that kind of thing?
Well, that's the game. You want to, I'll speak for us. Mm-hmm. We want to play fast, but not in a hurry. Mm-hmm. We want to make sand misses. We want to get the ball up, get it out in transition. We want guys to run corners. We want to set a ton of drag screens in transition. That flattens the defense out, and it's tough to recover when you're really pushing the ball at people and everyone's doing their job, running corners, so it flattens the defense. So if I'm a defensive guy and this guy's running, do I go corner? Do I stay up and try to stop the ball? Do I hedge on the drag screen? Do I trap the drag screen? So I like playing fast. I like, we work on it daily, just getting the ball out. Again, being fast but not in a hurry, meaning that we don't want to play so fast that we're just turning the ball over and running out of control. We want to play fast and with pace, but also being under control.
One more, if you don't mind. I feel like the big guys kind of get overlooked a little bit when the threes fall at that kind of rate. You talked a lot about the defensive effort, altering shots and blocks and everything. Just what have you seen out of the progression of that?
Well, we saw on film, and particularly this last game, the naked eye may not see it, but Matt got our guys 3 threes by just the pace of his roll to the basket. So when he comes up and he sets the drag screen and he rolls to the basket, the defender has a choice to make. All right, do I tag him or do I stay out with the shooter? And ULM, they rolled and tagged Matt on his roll 3 or 4 times, and he got guys open shots. Our bigs running with pace to the rim got guys shots. So it's a totally team effort. We had 9 guys hit threes. Everyone on our team can shoot the 3, have the freedom to shoot the 3 when they're open. But it was pretty exciting just to see 26 go in and our guys get on the hot streak like that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cornelius Jackson, his presser yesterday, the Thundering Herd on the road, taking on Texas State. We're going to have that game. We go on the air a little later than usual. 7 o'clock is going to be our airtime. We'll have that for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, of course, on 93.7 The Dog. Our text line is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the number to be a part of today's show. Texter says, Paul, I'm looking forward to these Marshall games tomorrow, especially this women's team. I think they can be special. As for snow days, watching sports, playing cards, and eating good homemade cooking. All right. I like that. Appreciate the thought. Yeah, watching sports. Again, Sunday was my NFL day. Saturday was weird, though. Saturday was strange to me because I didn't have a game. And I got to get ready for that because, basketball season is going to be over sooner than you think. And then I'm going to have a few months to kind of recenter, refocus, maybe take up a hobby, do some things before we get right back into the thick of things. And so Saturday was strange to me. I didn't know exactly what to do, what the plan was. Sunday, though, was just like, it's NFL. Let's do that. And then Monday, of course, just like it was a work day at home, but not here. Unfortunately, not able to get into the station safely to do the show. Unable to do the show remotely as well. So hopefully in the future, if we've got those type of situations, we can do the show remotely. But until then, appreciate everyone coming back today. And again, we'll get your text at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is my number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I was looking for something that's like start to watch because I've got a few things I'm trying to get into, and I've got HBO Max on that Black Friday deal. So there's a lot of things I can try to catch up there on, and a few things that I watch on Apple TV I haven't got back into yet because it was going to start back up soon. So I was looking for something just like what can I start watching just to kind of get into. I haven't caught up on Stranger Things for you Netflix folks who love that show. I haven't caught up there yet. And I didn't watch any of the wrestling pay-per-view, believe it or not. I heard that was good. I didn't watch Saturday night's main event. I kind of forgot that was actually on. So because it was on Peacock. That's the problem. It was streaming on Peacock. Wasn't on NBC where it used to be. As a kid, I looked forward to Saturday night's main event because it was wrestling on free TV. It wasn't one of those pay-per-view things that you probably couldn't afford even then. You had to get in like several guys to kind of chip in to pay for that. So it was kind of strange on Saturday trying to find stuff to do. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Your text coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Cold weather's on its way, and what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Our Kendrick Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Bigby Coffee, freshly ground, expertly roasted coffee. Swing by 126 State Street in Proctorville, Ohio. Bigby Coffee, more than coffee, it's community. Sandy's Racing and Gaming. Win big with Sandy's in Ashland. Sandy'sGaming.com. And Catamales, wood-fired specialty pies with the freshest farm-to-table ingredients. 126 State Street in Proctorville. They're serving the taste of Italy with love.
When it comes to your money,
You want a bank that's built to last. KFB, the Better Bank, is proud to be your hometown community bank, serving neighbors, not numbers. We're here for all your financial needs today and well into the future. So if you're looking for a bank that's committed for the long haul, check out our Wheelersburg location today. KFB, the Better Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Cold weather's on its way. And what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. AMDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Coming up tonight on our sister station, Cat Sports from 93.3 and 1340. It'll be Kentucky at number 18 Vanderbilt. 7:30 is our airtime. You can watch that on your TV. But why would you do that? You want to tune in instead to our sister station, 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet, and Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. Busy night as well. WVU playing host to Kansas State. That's at 8:30. Ohio is at Kent State at 7 o'clock. On the women's side, number 22 West Virginia is at Utah. That at 9 o'clock. And, of course, we have got Marshall at Texas State, 7 o'clock tomorrow, right here, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And, of course, the Marshall women will play host to Troy. That's Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. And, again, if anything changes, depending on the weather and the situation, Marshall University is closed for tomorrow. There will be remote classes, however, but should be fine for parking for those of you making your way to Huntington to watch the game, or if you're in town, parking garage should be available. I don't think there will be any problem. We'll give you the update if there will be a postponement or a schedule change. And again, follow the Marshall Media social account as well for this one. And again, you can find me on X at Paul Swann if you want to kind of follow along as well. And, of course, our text line, one more time, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is our number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So I think we're good because Athletics put out a tweet a couple hours ago there is a Frozen flash sale. Free garage parking, $5 tickets. Frozen flash sale. So if you are looking to get out of the house tomorrow, you got an option to buy tickets for $5. There will be free parking in the garage. So that came out not that long ago from Marshall Athletics. So I'm just going to go ahead and say right now that game is being played. The Herd's playing that game. Everything's going to be fine. I know they're going to try to do the Greek night again. Troy is the Greek night game. If you're part of the By Your Friends fraternity or sorority, it's Greek night. Winner takes bragging rights, a trophy, and $500. That's a big deal right there. And I loved all the social media posts that Marshall Athletics put out. The helmet at the football stadium. Like, hey, go put the helmet in the snow and take a photo. Okay. And then baseball doing the thing, showing the jack. It's like, yeah, you know what? It's snowing now, but hey, it's going to be spring soon. Yeah, I get that. It's going to be spring soon, but still, come on now. Did that with softball as well. So softball and football showing softball, baseball, and football showing the snow-covered turf, pointing out that everything's going to be fine sooner or later. 304-396-TALK, 396-8255. Sorry, I was reading a funny text. Texter says, I feel for the brave soul that had to actually go out there and take those photos. I do appreciate that as well. Somebody made the trip to take the photo, to go get the helmet, take the photo, and post it on the social media. That's dedication right there. Or somebody had not left and they just like put the helmet down real quick and said, okay, boom, click, bump, we're good. I give them credit, though. They are doing a lot better at social media than several years ago, completely. So hats off to their teams. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. The text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Okay, I like this one. Paul, what's your opinion on the value of these roving sideline reporters who ask pointless questions and receiving canned stock answers? That's a good question because it's difficult to ask a coach a question because the fact you're going to get the stock answer. Depending on the coach, it really helps if you got a coach that is willing to tell you something, to open up and to ask anything of the coach, and they're going to answer. I think you get some value on it. But at the same time, it's very difficult to justify it. If you're watching a basketball game, you're not really getting much of that sideline value. Football game, you get the sideline reporter. Now, if the sideline reporter sees something down on the field or can elaborate on something that's beneficial, there's an injury, if there is something going on that the sideline reporter has a better view, that's definitely something of value. Asking the pointless questions and the canned stock answers, though, I mean, how awkward is that? Hey, coach, what do you're behind at half. What do you got to do? Got to score more points. Very sloppy play out there. Yeah, that wasn't us. Didn't like the way we performed. What do you? Yeah, the coach isn't going to tell you, hey, you know what? We got to run the ball more. We're going to have to open up the passing lanes. We're going to have to go to the wide receiver more. No, coach isn't going to do that. So I get that opinion. And to be honest with you, I mean, sometimes it's just difficult to go and ask coach the same question over and over and over and over and over. Hey, coach, what do you think about this team? They're a good team. What do? Well, they're really talented. They got players. They got shooters. They get scholarships too. They got a big man. He's all ACC. I mean, you're not going to get too much detail because they don't want to say anything. I mean, they'll talk about their guys a little bit. If you ask about their guys somewhat, it's like, hey, coach, what do you think about this team? What's your impression of this team? Why is this team so successful? And, of course, there's not a single bad team out there. A team could come in and won maybe one game, and you think that coach is going to, and this is any coach, going to go, oh, yeah, they're terrible. They can't shoot the ball. Their perimeter defense is so lackadaisical. They're inside, they're soft. They can't hit anything. They're terrible at the free throw line. No, they're not going to say any of that. So, yeah, to your point, you ask a coach a question. Hey, coach, you're losing at halftime. What do you got to do to turn it around? Well, we got to score more points. We got to tighten that up. We got to clean that up. So, yeah, I appreciate the text. So, and again, it's not the easiest job to do because coaches aren't necessarily excited for it. Now, it depends on the sport as well. If you've got someone that's on the sidelines and they're able to bring something of value, and to be fair, we all miss the mark a lot sometimes. It's trying to bring you value. But if somebody is working the sidelines and they've got something of value, it's great. Back with you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. We should have a full show tomorrow as we get back in the swing of things here. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.